Good morning and welcome to Cincy Lifestyle. Here we are, the middle of the week, having a great time and thanking you for joining us this morning. Right, Mona?
That is so correct, Clyde. It is a beautiful day outside, and we've got something special going on, don't we? Something special about leaves today, Clyde.
Well, yeah, I remember you and I were talking a few days ago about this time of year and how much we love it and how beautiful it is. And part of what makes spring so cool is the leaves, the turning of the leaves. Now, for those of you who are really into that, I'm going to show you a map. We're going to show you a map that just kind of lays out where the leaf change is at various points during and where it's predicted to be, what it's going to look like during the progression of the fall. This map is found at SmokyMountains.com. SmokyMountains.com. Now, when you go there, the first thing you need to do is click on the National Parks tab, and that will then lead you to that map. And when you get there, Mona, what you'll find across the bottom is a series of dates. And so as you slide along those dates, it just kind of gives you a view of where the leaves are. And it starts with the yellows and it gets to the oranges and then down to the reds. So it's pretty cool when you go in and check that out.
You know what? It is my favorite time to drive down to the Smoky Mountains. It is the most beautiful sight, Clyde. I know you've done it before on your way to North Carolina, but I just love that drive.
Yeah, it's a great drive. It's a beautiful thing to see at any time of the year, but particularly this time of the year. And based on the map that we just showed you, probably the best time to make that drive or any other drive around this region is about the 19th of the month. So as we get a little deeper into the month, things get a little bit better looking.
Okay. All right, Clyde. So do you remember when you were, I'm sure you remember when you were younger and you would rake the leaves, or your dad or brother, for me, would rake the leaves and then you jump in? I loved that. I wonder if families are still doing that.
Oh, you can bet families are still doing that. What I remember from fall is that as late as mid-November, we were out playing football and sweating because in North Carolina it was hot. So just, you know, those are my memories. Jumping the leaves, not so much. Well, you know, another sign of this time of year too, Mona, is the concern about allergies and in particular the concern about flu. And this year, flu season takes on an even greater urgency given the COVID-19 pandemic. And the message is going out early. Do all you can to reduce your exposure to the flu and other respiratory illnesses. Among those sounding that warning right now, Cincinnati Children's Hospital Medical Center. And here to talk with us more about that is Michelle Hopkins from Cincinnati Children's Hospital. Michelle, thanks for talking to us this morning.
Absolutely, Clyde. Thanks for having me here. It's good to see you again.
The pleasure is mine, believe me. Now, with the pandemic going on right now, a lot of folks are not thinking about the flu quite as much. They're more concerned about the pandemic and those related issues. Why is it so important to focus, though, on getting your flu shot?
Well, doctors say this is not the year you want to skip the flu shot because of COVID. It is out there. There are two different viruses, and there's a possibility that you could get them both at the same time or one right after another. And the severity of that illness, they're just not sure about at this point. So we know there's no vaccine for COVID, but we do know there's a vaccine for the flu shot, for the flu. And so you want to make sure that you are protecting yourself in every way possible. This is the right time to get the flu shot, mid-October, they say. And we're working with the First Ladies for Health, Dina Cranley, Barbara Lynch, and many other faith leaders to make sure that we bring flu shots to the community so those neighbors out there have easy access to it. And this is at no charge, Clyde. So this is the perfect time to do it. You don't want to miss out. It's this weekend on Sunday.
And so, Michelle, who really should be thinking about getting these shots?
Well, it's always the younger and the older that are most vulnerable. So doctors say 6 months and up, everyone should get the flu shot in that age range. So we know that the elderly are susceptible. We know that young people are susceptible. But really, this year in particular, Clyde, everyone should be getting the flu shot. I got mine yesterday, and I made sure that my family got theirs because we don't want to have anything happen that we can prevent. This is all preventable.
Well, I join you in that, Michelle. I went week before last, so sounded like the smart thing to do
Good.
then, and more so now. Now, of course, one of the misconceptions that a lot of people have is that if you get the flu vaccine, you're basically getting a live flu virus. Is that true?
That is not true. The flu vaccine gives you proteins that help your body fight off the flu. So that's what is happening there. So just because you haven't had the flu doesn't mean you can't get it. That's another misconception. So you want to make sure you get the flu shot. And this weekend, we're offering you a great opportunity to do that as part of the First Lady's Health Day on October 11th. This Sunday from 1 to 4, we're going to be at 4 different locations: South Avondale Elementary, Priceville Recreation Center. We're going to be at New Prospect Baptist Church and Winton Hills Academy. So 1 to 4 this Sunday. You can come get the flu shot completely free.
Is there any place online folks can go to get a few questions answered if they have them?
Absolutely. CincinnatiChildren's.org/flu, or you can go to healthday.org, familyhealthday.org.
Okay, Michelle, as always, a pleasure to see you. Let me return that compliment, and thank you for being with us this morning.
All right. Thanks so much, Clyde.
Sure thing. Mona?
Well, it's beer brewed with integrity, and it's growing in popularity. Minority-owned Esoteric Brewing in Walnut Hills is not your average rustic brewery. Allie went behind the tap to learn about their story, their symbolism, and why they're involving the community in their growth. Take a look.
Esoteric as a company and as a brewery is for a much greater purpose.
Esoteric Brewing in Walnut Hills is here to create positive generational change. With their symbolic lotus flower logo representing the fight through adversities, to their unique employment program, interior space, and overall investment business plan, they're dedicated to making the community better.
So we've always had this thesis that if you include people of color and you include communities, disenfranchised communities into the offering for ownership into private businesses, then people will come out of the woodwork, and that's exactly what we've seen. We've raised over almost $900,000 in that raise. And the amazing part of it is that 38% of that dollar volume came from people of color. And that's really unheard of. And for us, it does have a democratizing effect for the community and a galvanizing effect because people come out in order to support that.
It's important to note that this isn't your average rustic brewery. First off, it's in the old 1930s Paramount building, which lends a hand to their polished yet inviting lounge style. And secondly, Brian, the man behind the brew, takes more of a traditional approach to their 9 beers on tap, but strongly considers all the elements that can affect your experience.
So it includes the space, it includes all things as far as sensory and education. So we would always talk about how we wanted to use, for instance, unscented soap. So about 80% of your taste comes from your smell, and if you go and wash your hands and then put the glass to your nose, now you're going to smell soap, so you're going to taste soap, potentially. So a lot of that is all kind of conducive to having a better experience. We don't have TVs here. We have a very lounge atmosphere, so even your sensory of just noise and atmosphere can affect your ability to enjoy that product.
So when you're at Esoteric, you can expect a wide range of beers on tap, from cream ales to IPAs to sours and stouts. And if you're hungry, you'll be able to enjoy the outdoors with a bite to eat. However, at the end of the day, it's really about more than just beer.
First and foremost, we want to be just identified as an excellent brewery. But being one of the first minority-owned breweries in Cincinnati, as well as being a very small few, we hope to, at the very least, inspire others to be able to see that they can also make these kind of inroads in their life. Dreams can turn into reality with enough hard work and perseverance.
Cheers.
And right now, we want to welcome our own special brew, Allie Martin, back to the conversation.
I look forward to the intro every time.
All right, Allie, what was one of your biggest takeaways from visiting the brewery?
Oh man, I feel like there were many because, we have a lot of great breweries in this city, but I mean this when I say this one is very, very different from other breweries in our city. First and foremost, I thought how they launched their business is very unique. They kind of took a little bit of that BrewDog style, if you know about BrewDog and how they launched theirs, which is more of that investment program, getting the community involved, investing in the business so they have stake in the business as well, which right there sets them apart. And the overall feel and vibe of the space. When you go to breweries, a lot of the times, which is great, it's very, very rustic. But this, they wanted to change it. They wanted to make it inviting in a different way and kind of class it up and make it a little bit more high end, which you don't see all the time. And that's not really prevalent in too many breweries around the city. So I really, really like that. And of course, just their overall mission is the icing on the cake, that they want anyone and everyone to give the brewery a go. And they were saying, even if you've never had beer before, it's a great way to try it. Brian, who is the CEO and founder, and he's really kind of the mastermind behind the tap, he initially wanted to go into forensic psychology, and then he just stumbled across the beer world and ended up working in the industry for a while and MadTree for 9 years, and saw the beauty behind the chemistry. And he's really trying to bring that experience, that lightning experience, he said, to anyone and everyone, whether you've had hundreds of beers or never had one in your life. And they're just really involved in the community, working with nonprofits, and they do trivia night. That'll be on Thursday. So it's just a great experience if you've never really dove into the beer scene.
Allie, right quick, because we don't have a lot of time left, unfortunately, but I get the sense that they probably don't flood you with beer options. They're a bit more thoughtful, if you will, about what they present, about the number of beers they present.
Yeah, they actually have a good amount of beer. They do have 9 on tap. So, but that is very true, though. They take more of a traditional sense, is probably the way I would describe it, and keep it more on the simple side. But they really do have a little bit of everything, from your classic IPAs to the sours to the stouts. But you are right in the fact that there's not 12 IPAs, there's maybe 2, and there's just a little bit of everything. So it's very, very thought through, and they plan to move forward, hopefully with beer and a liquor license too, for people who might not be big beer drinkers and still want to enjoy the space.
All right.
So check them out online or on Facebook.
Okay, Allie, thanks a lot. And as you just saw in Allie's report, our region is kind of in the midst of a renaissance in a whole lot of ways. For instance, new buildings popping up in a lot of places. Even in areas not getting that new development, though, there is still a strong push for makeovers that improve how communities look and how their residents feel living in them. Habitat for Humanity is one of the groups leading neighborhood revivals through its Rock the Block campaign. Here now to talk with us about that this morning is Ed Lee from Habitat for Humanity. Ed, always a pleasure talking to you, so thank you for joining us this morning.
Hi, Clyde. Great to be with you.
So, Ed, a lot of folks are familiar with the Habitat for Humanity brand, but remind us what Rock the Block is all about.
So, Clyde, as you know, we build and rehab homes and then sell those to low-income families across the tri-state, and that's what we're best known for. Rock the Block is a way for us to extend our program out into the neighborhood, though. Instead of just helping a couple families, can we really help turn a community around? And Rock the Block typically is a one-day event. We deploy 400 volunteers out, do 20 or 30 facade repairs on a Saturday. But this year, we're not able to do that because of COVID. And so we are deploying about 200 volunteers out to 13 different sites across the tri-state, doing community projects. And you're seeing some of those pictures right now where we will be trying to address those community projects.
So, Ed, can you share with us just a few of the communities you'll be in? I know we don't want to talk, we won't have the time to do all of them, but a few of them.
Well, we are as far north as Hamilton with a project there where we're working on putting mulch down on a path at a animal shelter. We'll be working in Covington at a shelter, a Lower Price Hill to Walnut Hills, and every place in between.
So you're obviously maintaining social distance and all of that. What other changes have you had to make because of the current environment?
Yeah, so typically we would do 20 or 30 projects in a single neighborhood. So we would have a big event, kick this thing off with a big rah-rah kickoff event, and simply can't do that today. So we're divided up into small teams, and we've spread that out over the tri-state. So we will abide by all the CDC and the state of Ohio Health Department COVID regulations and recommendations to keep everybody safe. We'll have plenty of a hand sanitizer out there, face mask, eye protection, and we'll keep folks socially distanced, and we'll have a great day, and we'll make a difference across the tri-state.
Okay, Ed, so talk a little bit about what you're hoping those projects do in these communities.
Well, Rock the Block traditionally is, what we use it for is a catalyst for change in the communities. And so we're hoping that this year is the same, but we're extending it a little bit more in that we're also going to talk to all of our volunteers about the need for affordable housing and really try to create some advocacy for affordable housing across the tri-state. 1 in 6 families across the United States spend more than 50% of their income on housing every month, and that's just not acceptable. We need to do better than that as a country, and so we'd like to get folks talking about that.
Okay, so let's help folks connect with you if they want to volunteer or if they just simply want more information. How do they do that?
You can find out more about all of our programs and about how to connect this Saturday with Virtual Rock the Block at habitatcincinnati.org.
Okay, Ed, as always, such a joy to talk to you. Have a great day.
Thanks, Clyde.
Mona?
Well, coming up here on Cincy Lifestyle, it's an art exhibit that's being celebrated apart and together. We have Mayor Cincy JCC standing by to tell us all about an in-person and virtual exhibit that you can see right now. All that and more in just a few minutes, so stay with us. Welcome back. Well, an in-person and virtual exhibit is bringing the community together through art and the Jewish festival of Sukkot. Mayor Cincy JCC has gathered artists to interpret their experiences during this pandemic. And right now, joining me is Franny Kahan, the Cultural Arts Manager at Mayor Cincy JCC. Thank you for joining us, Franny.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So how did you come up with the idea of tying in the Jewish festival of Sukkot with this art exhibit?
Well, actually, this is an event that the Jewish Community Center has hosted for the past 8 years. And for this holiday, we build a temporary structure, the sukkah, which you can see behind me. The exhibit is installed in the sukkah. So we fulfill this commandment beautifully, which is sort of an extra blessing. So it's a wonderful event that we've hosted for the past 8 years. And when I began my role with the JCC, I continued the execution of it.
Well, that's wonderful. So what's going to be new this year besides the exhibit being virtual, of course?
Right. So it is a new world we're living in. So we went virtual so that, the greater Cincinnati community could enjoy the exhibit even if they aren't comfortable coming to our building and coming to a public location. We also every year engage with community groups. We invite participants from across the city. And this year we also hope to engage individuals and family units. And participants responded with enthusiasm, and we have a wonderful group of participants this year that ranges from individuals all the way to organizations. We also scaled down the size.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, the theme this year is a big theme. It's together, apart. So talk a little bit about that.
Yes, so our theme this year is Together Apart. We have a different central theme each year, and it's supposed to give room for interpretation and not be too leading, hopefully, because we love to see how participants respond and how they interpret to give a diversity of artworks. And obviously, Together Apart was inspired sort of by the reality that we're living in. And, every theme has its own sort of timeliness, I think, but obviously this year especially.
Okay, so talk about the type of artwork that people can experience when they see it.
Yeah, so we have 42 pieces, and some of them have some similar themes, some of them are very different, but each is its own unique piece. And that really is reflective of the diversity of the participants. Everyone comes from different backgrounds, different religions, different perspectives. And so that's reflected in the interpretation of the theme that they chose, and also even the materials, which can range from paint to more tactile objects.
Okay, so we want to get people out there. Franny, tell us where people can go for more information.
Yes, we'd love to have visitors, whether in person in our community Sukkot, which you can come and visit here at the JCC during business hours, or if you'd like to go to mayersonjcc.org, you can go to the event page Under One Roof Together Apart to find the virtual exhibit and more information about the theme.
All right, Franny, thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate it. Clyde?
Thank you so much for having us.
All right, we'll be back with more Cincy Lifestyle on the other side of the break. Plus, be sure to check us out on Instagram. We post all kinds of behind-the-scenes pictures from here on the set and while we're out in the community. So follow us on Instagram at Cincy Lifestyle and stay right where you are. We'll be back shortly.
And that is Cincy Lifestyle for today. It is Wednesday, October 7th. Remember to reach out to us. We love it when you do. Hey, you want to check us out tomorrow, too. We're going to be talking about a citywide scavenger hunt. Make today a great day.
Hey, thank you so much for watching our video. Now, if you liked what you saw, hit the subscribe button. You can also check out full episodes of the show you've never seen before or watch your favorites again and again. And as always, be sure to make it a great day.